Hi and welcome. My name is Olia. On this channel I share my journey of settling into countryside life in a small village in western Finland. I moved here last December. The village welcomed me with freezing temperatures and long dark nights. But the fireplace in the house kept me warm when the electricity prices felt too much to handle. And the night sky was filled with more stars than I had ever seen before. That winter, I also experienced the northern lights for the first time in my life. Now, as I'm editing this video, we are on the edge of summer. There is no longer a need to light the fireplace, but the days are filled with a much busier kind of work. Taking care of the garden, preparing the field, and trying to keep my little seedlings alive. The biggest struggle so far has been the plants that come from warmer climates. They seem to be very confused about why they suddenly had to survive a cold Finnish spring. Some of them started growing way too early, but now we are all happy that we made it to summer. My first spring here also showed me how quickly my plans can fall apart. The plan was so good before her car broke.
Ми йдемо на автобус.
It's a 1-hour walk to a bus stop, but I don't mind it at all when the views are so beautiful. As you might know from my previous video, our car is now forbidden to use. The inspection found serious rust damage that, by Finnish standards, makes the car unsafe to drive. Since it's a first car and so many memories are connected to it, we decided to repair it. Although later this decision began to feel a little irrational. The car is quite old, and now that we are living in the countryside, where public transport is nowhere near as good as in the cities, we have to rely on a car much more. So we need to think about it in a more practical way. Our car is still in repair, and we are this close to just getting another car in loan, but we can't even drive to take a look into another cars. Yep, life in the countryside without a car is a little bit complicated. But besides all the work and worries, we had a bit of an accident. I still can't get over how beautiful it is here now. May changed everything. It started slowly, with the first buds on the trees taking so long to emerge, and we had so many windy days. But now, the fields around us are green, and the garden has completely transformed. The flowers on the apple trees have turned into tiny little fruits, and the berry bushes are also promising a good harvest later in the season. But the biggest changes happened in the light. Now the evenings are just endless. And even after the sun goes down, it doesn't get dark before it rises again just a couple of hours later. And little by little, the garden is finally starting to give something back for the effort put into it. Oh no, there is a little baby there. Oh, it's looking for its mama. Poor baby. She will come back. Just wait for it somewhere safe. It's coming back here again. I'm so worried about it now. As a beginner gardener and someone new to this kind of lifestyle, of course I make many mistakes on my journey.
Oh no, something is eating my peppers.
But the positive side to it is that both I and you as well can learn from my mistakes, and we can help each other by sharing our experiences. So any advice, corrections or discussions in the comments are very welcomed. And now, following a little tradition, let's jump back into May, and I'll show you some of the progress as well as some of the mistakes and setbacks along the way. Wanna see something funny? Remember a few months ago I covered a few patches of grass on our field with biodegradable film, hoping that it will suppress the grass underneath. Well, actually, the grass underneath is now even more greener than the rest of the field. I mean, look, it wasn't supposed to work like this.
I feel so stupid.
There is a squirrel eating flowers. What? I never could have thought that they eat flowers. Now I know I should have used a thicker and heavier material for this kind of job. The cover I chose was too lightweight to do anything. It didn't press the grass down, didn't block the sunlight, and if anything, it just helped the soil to warm up faster.
Yep, I think the grass was really happy that I put a cover over it.
As this method didn't work out, I had to go down the path I had been trying to avoid. And that same evening, in a mix of enthusiasm and desperation, I started digging to prepare one patch for planting. 1,000 times along the way I was reminded why I hadn't wanted to use this method in the first place. Since it was still too early and too cold for my little seedlings to go into the ground, I covered the patch with cardboard, so the grass wouldn't grow back by the time the conditions were right. The next day, Olia helped me to till another patch, and that already looked much more promising than my previous method. Later, I decided to try out an idea that I hope to use more throughout the garden in the future. I wanted to see if I could use leftover branches to build vegetable beds. I started by marking out the shape of the bed and placing pairs of stakes into the ground about a meter apart. After that, I needed branches for the walls. And that's where the branches left over from pruning our conifer hedge came into use. This bed will not only look natural, but also improve the soil over time. The branches will slowly break down and add organic matter to the soil. And when the walls start to decompose, I can simply add another layer of branches on top and refresh the bed without having to rebuild it from scratch. In the end, I really like how this bed looks, and I love that it makes use of materials we already have in the garden. If it holds up well, I can imagine building more of my vegetable beds this way in the future. But first, this one has to prove itself. When I was done with the sides of the bed, I started working on the soil. I know I've been saying that I want to follow a no-dig gardening approach and build raised beds. But after thinking about it more and doing some calculations, taking into account the cost of materials and good compost, I came to the conclusion that the best thing I can do in the long run is improve the soil we already have in the field. The soil in a garden is heavy clay. It's actually quite fertile, but the top layer is very compacted. Weeds like couch grass thrive in this soil, but other plants may struggle to grow strong roots. The best way to improve it is to add large amounts of organic matter. I recently read a fascinating book about composting, and the knowledge I gained from it gave me an idea of how I could improve the soil in our field. So I dug a trench and filled it with a bit of everything we had in the garden, but in a specific order and ratio. The first layer was branches. They will create air pockets and slowly break down over time. Next came the brown layer, dry leaves and small twigs. These are rich in carbon, which is food and energy for all the tiny organisms living in the soil. Then came the green layer, kitchen scraps and fresh grass clippings. These are rich in nitrogen, which helps these organisms grow and keep breaking everything down. I repeated the brown and green layers several times. Over time, worms will help mix everything into the soil, and the soil structure will gradually improve. In the end, I covered the bed with cardboard, which should stop the grass and weeds from growing. The cardboard will also decompose over time. On top, I added a layer of garden soil, and the bed was finally ready for planting. I repeated the same method for another bed, and as the weather got warmer, I planted my tomatoes there. Look who is back!
Let me find a place to sit and I'll tell you what is happening in a yard and why the roof of our garage is damaged. Ah, there is wasp. Go away.
First, we got our car back. Yay! It finally passed the inspection, so we are back on the road. I've never paid attention how much my life revolves around a car. And being without a car left me realize how much freedom a car gives to you, especially if you live in the countryside. And also during this time I realized that it's not impossible to live without a car here. There are buses. If you need to go to a big city, the closest bus stop is about 1 hour walk. So it's quite far, but it's faster if you go by bike. And there are also closer bus stops if you want to go to the closer towns. And during this time we had a chance to explore the little town, the closest to us little town. We were able to find some really nice stores, and there were tools and items that are hard to find even in large stores in big cities. So it was pretty nice discovery. We also had a chance to visit a local market with local food and handmade products and all the interesting stuff. It's really lovely there and I plan to visit it more often. But yeah, I'm definitely happy to have our car back. The repair took a little longer than expected, but the guy who did all the welding work, he did a really great job and he did even more than we expected. So overall we are really happy with the outcome. Another small update. I feel like I need to tell you a bit about the baby deer, because I was really worried when I saw him for the first time circling around our house, calling for his mama, and he had this white spots on his coat, and that means that he is still too small and too young to be independent. And a few days later I saw him again. It was still alone, but it didn't look weak or exhausted, and I read that mother deer often leave their babies alone and they go feed. They just come a few times per day to feed the babies, so probably its mama was somewhere nearby. The fact that I saw him again a few days later and it didn't look weak, it looked alright, so that means that he's not abandoned. That's a good sign. That's just how nature works. Usually humans do not need to interfere unless the baby deer is very exhausted, which is the sign that it's abandoned, and this one seems not to be. And it's not like we have dangerous wild animals here. We do have foxes, but I think this baby deer was too big for a fox to be a threat. We have wolves, but they are on the other side of the lake, so it's quite far. And actually, there is one bear. A neighbor told us that there is a bear living in about 10-15 kilometers from here. I was really surprised to hear about it, but I really hope a bear doesn't have much reason to be here in the middle of open fields. But I would lie if I say that it didn't make me a little scared. Now I'm a little nervous when I'm all alone in the forest. It's not the great Helsinki area anymore where I could feel safe in the forest because there was not much wildlife there. It's quite a big difference here. I also wanted to give you a little tour around the yard and the garden and to show you some plants and flowers I've planted. But please, I ask you to take into account that I planted everything a bit too late this year. Everything I planted is still quite small. But still, I'd like to show you. Look what I found here. Oh, that's so beautiful. Here is my lavender. I bought it from the store because the one that I planted from seeds looks like this. I also planted some flowers here. Just look at this lawn. Everything is neat and beautiful. Here in the containers I have some flowers as well as here in the baskets. They are so small. I wonder when they will start flowering and if they will have enough time to flower. My nasturtiums are getting eaten. That's so annoying. Here are my zucchini, cabbage, which is already eaten by the hares, I think. My tomatoes are growing well. Here I have little pumpkins. The corn just sprouted. Of course, I planted sunflowers. Looks like soon we'll have some peas. There are more tomatoes here, also some peppers. Some place available for some other plants. I have not decided yet. This is our blueberry bushes. There are so many berries. And we're also gonna have some raspberry. There's actually a lot of raspberry bushes. Here I sowed some flowers, but there is an issue. I don't know what from it is flower and what is a weed. Oh, this one is the weed. I know it for sure. Look at this deep root. This one is crazy invasive, but it's so beautiful. It's sad that we have to get rid of it. This tuya was growing in a pot and we replanted it here. This is where they put the cable, and it actually looks even nicer than it was before all the digging. Here it's not so nice, but we will plant some grass soon. I got a little bit distracted. There has been a lot going on here today. I'll tell you about it a little bit later. I've made myself a cup of tea and yeah,
let's continue my story. I forgot my microphone. Just wait a minute. Did I plug it in? I hope I did. No, let me check it again. So, now to the story. What has happened with our roof? Well, it's a series of unfortunate events, and it all started with our decision to get a fiber optic internet connection. It is already available in our village. I think the cables just need to be brought from the main road to our house. We had a cable box installed on the wall of the house back in the middle of May, and at the beginning of June, guys came to do the digging work in a yard and to lay the cable in a yard. I forgot to mention that before that a man came to mark the underground cables in a yard so nothing gets damaged during the digging. But unfortunately, one cable had been missed. There is a power cable running from the house to the garage. We didn't know it was there. The man who marked the cables didn't know it was there, and the guys doing the digging didn't know it was there. So, of course, they accidentally cut it. To be fair, they immediately tried to fix the problem. They reconnected the cable, but for some reason, the power still wasn't working. They spent many hours trying to find out why it's not working. In the end, we finally realized that it was because one of the safety switch had automatically turned off. But to access that switch, we needed a key because it was in the electrical cabinet and it was locked. We didn't have the key. The guys didn't have the key because only electricians have access to this box. So they came a few days later with electricians. They fixed the power, so everything was alright with it. And that could have been the end of the story. But it wasn't. For some reason, the electricians came in a truck. When they were leaving a yard, the truck accidentally hit the roof of the garage. And that's it. But they said they would fix everything, which is good. To be honest, I mostly feel sorry for them. I'm not blaming them because, of course, things like that happen. They came here to do what was supposed to be just a quick 2-minute job, and now they have to deal with a much bigger issue. A small update, because things are changing faster than I edit this video. The roof is now fixed. They changed all the metal parts that were damaged and now it's like new. But I want to say that everyone we met during this whole situation and this whole process was really nice and friendly, and it was really nice to talk to people. And also today, as I said, I got distracted because I didn't expect we will have 2 excavators and a few trucks. Thankfully this time not in our yard but on our road. They were doing the digging on the road and they were laying the cable. They are not done yet. They will come back tomorrow because it's already about 10 in the evening. As I said, everyone is very nice and friendly. That reminded me that in one of my older videos I mentioned that I don't think Finnish people are as introverted as they are described. Back then I got comments like, well, that is because you live in Helsinki. Helsinki is not all of Finland. You should go and talk to people outside of Finland. Well, what can I tell you now? I live in the countryside, far from Helsinki, and I still feel the same way. At least in my own experience, people I've met have been very nice and honest and friendly, and just every time someone comes to do something in a yard or to fix something, we invite them for a cup of coffee, and it's just nice to get to know people and just look at the comments under my videos. I know I don't speak
good Finnish. I still have a long way to go, but I got so many kind and supportive comments, and you guys are just so kind, and my heart melts every time, even though I'm not the best YouTuber in terms of consistency. It took me so long to edit and to put this video together, and in the end I left out most of the footage from early May, and to be honest, it was just many hours of me digging and pruning some berry bushes, and more digging and more pruning. So it was just boring, and I didn't want to bore you with that. Anyway, alright, thank you so much for watching. I think by the time you watch this, it's already past the midsummer, so have a wonderful end to June. Take care, and I see you in my next video. Bye!